gentleman from Washington, Mr. Heck, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this question is for either Mr. Bachmeier or Ms. Gresh. My understanding is that the most recent settlement at the Hague Tribunal before January 2016 was in 1991, when Washington and Tehran agreed to a $278 million payment as compensation for military equipment that the Shah paid for but was undelivered at the time of the revolution. The final negotiations on that settlement coincided with the release, as you will recall, of 2 Western hostages, including 1 American, by Iranian-backed Shiite Muslim militants over in Lebanon. According to a New York Times article dated November 28, 1991, Bush administration officials at the time denied that the deal was linked in any way to the fate of the hostages in Lebanon. The State Department's legal advisor, then as now, under President Bush, said in the Times that with respect to the arms deal, quote, "It's pure coincidence that it's coming together at the same time the hostages are being released." In your view, is there any reason to doubt the Bush administration's claim that the hostages release had anything to do with the arms deal settlement, which they claim had been under discussion for a long time?
Congressman, I am familiar with those. I recall those reports at the time. I wasn't involved in that particular settlement, but our practice is that in looking at all of these cases, we assess litigation risk and we decide these settlements on their own merit.
I will take that as there's no reason to have doubted the Bush administration's claim. I would ask you if you recall any public outcry at the time over that. Fact was, there was none from Congress. I'll save you the time. I would also ask you if you recall any hearings being held by any relevant committee of jurisdiction regarding that issue, as we are today. I'll save you the time. There were none. And I will also remind you that in the wake of the original Iranian hostage crisis back in 1981, we in fact signed a deal to transfer nearly $8 billion, a transfer which was authorized by incoming President Reagan. And once again, there were no congressional hearings on the legality of that, nor an indication from the members of the then majority party, as now, that it constituted a ransom. So one of my favorite expressions is, consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds. Congratulations. Evidently, there are no small minds here today, because there certainly isn't a lot of consistency. You know, ordinarily, we have hearings often on subjects which I don't agree with, or with such incendiary titles as is today's hearing. But I almost always find a way to thank the chair, because I think it at least unlocks the door or opens the door for a constructive dialogue and questions and answers that can help illuminate. That's not the case today. There's no legitimate reason to be holding this discussion other than to dissemble the facts and to engage in propaganda. None whatsoever. Indeed, the only thing I want to say, and not further legitimize this hearing, is that for the 4 of you and your colleagues, however directly or indirectly you were involved in the return of those 4 Americans, you have our thanks. I yield back the balance of my time, Mr. Chair.